Hey everybody, it's Kelly. Just make sure this is straight for all of you. So, just so that you know, today I'm not doing a scrapbook process video. I'm actually going to do an album share. So the reason that I could not do a live on Friday was because I was at a retreat this weekend, and it's a retreat that I go to. I do 3 a year. I always do one in October. And I was with a group of friends. Normally we have 24 people in the house we were in, and it's a huge house made for retreats. This weekend we only had 10. And that was to actually to socially distance and to make sure that we had enough room. The area that I sat in, there were only 2 of us in a group of 6 tables, so we were able to put a table in between us so that we had another extra, I don't know, we probably had 12 feet in between us. And then I brought my own food, so we weren't sharing food, we weren't eating at tables together, so we were being as safe as we could. And then the room that I slept in had 6 beds, 6 twin beds. There were only 2 of us in it. We had our own bathroom. So it was really about as safe as it could be, especially because the numbers in Wisconsin are going up. So I was really excited to get out of the house, to do some crafty time with some friends, and to create layouts. So when I do this particular retreat, the house opens at noon on Thursday, and you can stay on Sunday till I think 3 o'clock. I only stayed till about 9 when I did my when I left, or when I stopped scrapbooking. So I scrapbooked from probably about 3 o'clock on Thursday, and then this morning I just did 2 layouts, spent some time reading other stuff going on. I'm pretty serious when I'm at a retreat. I do go out and do things on occasion, like I had to run to the grocery store at one point, and sometimes I'll do stuff like that. But this particular retreat is outside of a small town. So there's really not a lot to do unless you go to a bigger city, which I can go to that big city. It's only an hour away from my house. So retreat, scrapbook layouts. I created 68 pages this weekend. Now, I think you guys know that when I go to retreat, if you've seen any of my layout shares, and if you look in the scrapbook album shares, you'll find my retreat layout shares in that playlist. But when I go, I usually create a lot of layouts. The big thing, hey Carrie, the big question people always ask me is if I pre-plan. And the answer to that is no, absolutely not. I literally take my paper files, my embellishments, my glue, all of that kind of stuff, and I set it up on the table. So it would be just like it is if I'm scrapping at home. Not exactly the same configuration, but you guys know, I think I've talked about this. I keep embellishments. And I do have a scrapbook room tour, but I keep embellishments in these baskets. I have 2 of them. I use both of those baskets at the retreat because I think it saves me time, because my setup is similar to what I do at home. It's obviously it's a little bit different because I'm working on a 6-foot table versus my scrapbook room, but I don't pre-plan anything. If I get stuck or I want a new idea, I'll run out to Pinterest or something else. I think I did that once. There was just at one point, I had on Thursday, I did okay on Thursday. I think I did 11 layouts from like 3 o'clock until like 10 o'clock at night, or maybe it was even 11, but I think it actually was 10 o'clock at night. But Friday was a really slow scrapbooking day for me. I don't know what was going on. I don't remember how many I think I did. I think I did like 15, maybe a little bit more than that. But anyway, so I did most of my scrapbooking on Saturday. I was a machine. And some of what I do when I do that is I pull out a collection or a subject and I scrap all the photos I have for that. And then I just move forward. Sometimes I skip things, like I didn't have my happy birthday folder with me. I didn't have my sports folder, so it didn't have any soccer memorabilia ephemera in it. And there was one other thing. I have pictures of my grandkids when they were sick, and I have a little bit of that, so I didn't have any of that with me. I just go and I move on. So anyway, so let's talk about the 68 layouts, and I'll show you these first couple of layouts actually are a good, they're a good illustration of kind of how I scrapbook when I'm at this retreat. So you can kind of see what happens and how my thought processes works. So this first layout is of my grandkids carving Halloween pumpkins, and I'm going to show you 1 and 2 pages. By the way, 68 pages. I don't count layouts because in the year I want to know actually how many 12 by 12 pages I'm creating. If you use only a layout thing, that doesn't tell you like how many individual single pieces of paper like this you're using, that kind of a thing. My goal was to create 58 to 52 pages when I first started tracking how many layouts I was keeping track of for the year. So anyway, so here's the first one. I'll talk about product if I know what it is, but a lot of this stuff for Halloween is very old. So there's my pumpkin carving layout. I do keep my photos in these Cropper Hopper photo holders, and these are they hold 4 little tiny envelopes, but I've taken the envelopes out of these because, like in my grandkids one, this is much more full. And I actually scrapbooked two of these of grandkids photos over the weekend. That's how many photos I did. So I'm down to 1. I'd found photos from 2019 because when I did my retreat in March, I thought I had unpacked everything, and I discovered when I was packing last week that I had left a thing of photos in there. And you know, and it was so funny because at one point I thought I didn't have harvest photos. Okay, so anyway, so here is the first layout. Here's the second layout I did now. So see, I'm in my Halloween folder. Can you tell this? And this is part of how I scrapbook fast, because I'll grab all the Halloween photos I have to scrap and I'll do those all at once so that I'm not pulling out different supplies constantly. And I find that once I'm touching the supplies, stuff starts to just, even as I'm working on another layout, it's giving me ideas on how to proceed and other things to combine. So cute little photo bomb of my grandson with, this is my M number 4, who, because of this, they went as Mario Brothers, and there's a character in that called Toad, so that's my nickname for him because of this darling little hat he had on. So here's my first 2-page layout, and I do 2-page layouts. I'm going to try to make sure I want to make sure I get these all there. So yeah, oh, that's a great term for that, Carrie, batching. I've never used that, but that's great. That's a great idea. That is exactly what I do. So I don't necessarily scrap that way when I'm at home, but definitely I do it when I'm doing this. So here is, I know this is using Bella Boulevard product here. These are some printables from Ellie Studio. So that Halloween layout. And then this Halloween layout, and I think these are papers from Echo Park, but this is a Bella Boulevard. This is some Ellie Studio, some Doodlebug is on here. So there's this one, and I'm using 4x6 photos here, or the cell phone camera version of those, because it's a little bit smaller than 4x6. I'm not necessarily looking at a sketch and doing that, but sometimes, like I looked at some of these photos, I think like this one I did take in a square, but some of these I just look at them and go, you know, this one there was so much background excuse me, I just decided to crop it. But like I don't go out necessarily and crop my photos to something that is on a sketch. If I'm working with a sketch, I probably have the photos that size already. I print at 4x6. So then there's another one. This is a big formula that I use where I do 3 photos across and then on a border paper there. So that's that one. And now this one is a little kind of out of the realm of those Halloween supplies, because she was dressed as a princess there, and I knew I had a princess collection with me, so I did that, and then just kind of collaged the photos together a little bit, used a little, this was kind of fun, I'd never done this before. I took a border sticker and kind of popped it under all 3 sort of bottom areas to give them a shelf to sit on. It felt like it was floating before that. All right, then here's another 2-page layout, and now I've switched to fall here. So this is from last year when they went to this pumpkin farm that they go to every year. This is the new Echo Park, and I can't remember what it's called, but this is this year's fall Echo Park collection that you're seeing on this whole layout here. So, and again, here, these are full-size photos, all of these, you know, spread over 2 pages here. So, and I'll do this quite often where one of the pages has all the verticals, and then I'll put the horizontals, and then I like to give it a little bit of breathing room somewhere where I do a 2-pager. So in this particular case, I actually split the design here, which I don't often do. Normally I'd butt those up, but I really wanted to emphasize that because that was a picture of all of them together. Baby M number 4 is in that. It's just crazy. It was funny to see the kids so young because they grow so much in a year. Then we moved to Thanksgiving, and again, I'm in my fall folder, but I did pull this. This is the new Bella Boulevard background. It's an ombre paper on the back here. So for those of you joining me, I'm just walking through the layouts that I made at my retreat this weekend, and I did 68 pages this weekend. So just using some of the stickers in that from fall, and I didn't have as many photos here. A lot of them were 4x4 or even less of a size here, so I was able to do more breathing room on the paper, on the page there. And now somebody not that long ago asked me about photos of my darling little great niece, and I have scrapbooked. I did scrapbook 2, I think the other night, but there she is. So that's my little great niece, and I just looked at this, and I do not have a date on this anywhere. So I'm going to pop this aside. This is one of the things I like to do too when I'm going through and putting them in the albums, making sure that I've got a date. I don't have a lot of journaling for this. This is when they brought her home from the hospital. But so there's one of, that's the first layout that you're seeing. And I don't have all the photos for her baby book yet. Mama's working on that for me, but as soon as she does get them, you'll see more of her. I do have a few more pictures of her. And then this is the day she came home with her big brother, being very curious about who this was, peeking at her. Although it's so funny because he was peeking at her, but he really doesn't want anything to do with her, which is really funny. That last page was a combination of Echo Park and Ellie Studio. Guys, I'm hoping, so I just got a phone call, and I'm hoping that it didn't interrupt our, there we go. Sorry about that. I'm going to turn my ringer off. Well, that doesn't happen very often, but every so often. Okay, so I'm back. So this is all Felicity Jane. There's a little bit of, I think this is Lawn Fawn back here, but this is mostly Felicity Jane. And then this is the Pink Fresh. Okay. Oh, thanks, Carrie. This is the Pink Fresh Let's Stay Home collection, this piece of paper. I had seen this, and I knew it would work with this blanket they had for her. So I saved that out to use it. And this is her going home. And again, this is the Echo Park, it's Baby Girl or something like that, Sweet Baby Girl. This is their latest baby collection. And then here's another, so you're getting to see lots of my new great niece. And this is before I was in Kansas City a couple of weeks ago. So I love this photo of her with her big bow on there. This is Ellie's Studio. This is an old collection because when they made 12x12 papers. I'm trying to think what it's called. I can't remember anyway. But I love this paper. And then this is, again, my great niece and my great nephew, but with their uncles. So this is my nephew's wife's brother. And this is that same Pink Fresh Studio Let's Stay Home collection here that I used for the papers anyway. So kind of interesting how you can do that. This will not go in her baby book. This will go in her family albums. So I think what we're going to do with her baby book is make it more about milestones, this book, and we're going to go back through and do the same with his, and then we're going to start putting everything into family albums for them. So then this is a big Ellie Studio piece and lots of other things, some Felicity Jane embellishments. This is a card that my sister and brother-in-law sent me that I wanted to save. They sent this to me. That that's funny, Marcy. Which that is one of the largest totals that I've ever done. I can tell you about that in a second. But anyway, so I wanted to save this card. They sent this to me while I was out of work during the shutdown for the pandemic in April. And it was just so heartfelt, and they did something very sweet for me. So they sent that to me. So I wanted to save that to remember that story. So the most I ever made layouts in that same time in that weekend was 91 pages. However, a large portion of that, I think about 60 pages of that, were for my nephew's wedding album. And if you go to my Flickr, if you ever want to see those wedding albums, they're on my Flickr account. I do have some wedding pages in my playlist, but it's on my Flickr account, and I'm Kelly O'Black on Flickr as well. And those are just basically a photo with maybe one or two small embellishments. It's not layered like this for either of the two wedding albums I did for my nephew. So those are really easy and quick pages to put together. And that's because the brides preferred them that way. All right, so then this is another page I did, and I based it obviously on the fact that this is an ice cream cone thank you card. It's the first time I saw it. This is my great nephew, who is 2, signing his name for the first time. So, which is crazy because he shouldn't even have that dexterity to even be able to get I mean, I can recognize quite a few letters there. So I wanted to save that for their family albums because we were all just stunned and thought it was really cute. This is a doodlebug paper, so love that. And speaking of my great nephew, here he is. So this is him eating his daddy's coconut ice cream. I love this paper. It looks like Neapolitan ice cream, and now I cannot tell you. I believe it's I was going to say, I think it's a Crate Paper collection. It's not. It's Heidi Swap's latest collection, Old School, I think is the name of that collection. And I just love the paper so much. And when I saw these ice cream pictures, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to use that paper. So that's what I did. All right, then the next one, I batch scrapbooking again here now. I started out with a photo of, I'm going to scrapbook some photos of my cats here. So this, I'm going to pull this up so you can see this. This is my female cat playing peekaboo. She's sitting on a windowsill behind a buffet. So she scared me to death when she did that. So that's that. And then some pictures that I have a cat sitter come when I'm gone because my cats get a little sassy if I don't have her. So she took these gorgeous pictures of this, and then I have 2 of my male cats. So I have 2 cats, they're brothers and sisters. So again, I'm just doing the cat stuff here. And I'll do this, it's that whole third, and third, how you look at pages here that I'm using a lot. You'll see it. So here's the formula, same formula, but 2 different pages that I've used it on. But if you turn that, obviously it's the same thing, really. It's just how you do it, how you place photos. Sometimes I'll place, like if I use this sort of L thing here, sometimes I'll place it over the top. Sometimes I tuck it underneath like I did with that border sticker. So that's another thing that's helpful is, to use some of those tried and true formulas for you if you want to scrapbook a lot of pages. And because these are going in all different albums, it doesn't matter. So then this is my male cat. They're Linus and Lucy. I did not name them, but I do think it is very cute. So this is Linus, and I love this photo that she got of him. He does not like many people. He's kind of a fraidy cat, but he does love his cat sitter. So there's that. And then when I printed those, I accidentally printed this. She collaged the photos and then I split them apart. So I just did that anyway with a very busy layout. And this is just how during the pandemic shutdown, they were part of my sanity. All right, so then batch scrapbooking. Now I'm working on some photos from graduation. I had scrapbooked a photo of my dad and I at my high school graduation on Father's Day this year, which this year was also my dad's birthday, and my dad passed away 13 years ago. So that was a hard day for me. So now I found some photos from my high school graduation that I didn't realize I had never scrapbooked. So I decided to start doing those. So here I am circa 1982 at my high school graduation, and my sister made my cake. So that's why this was so popular. And this is Maggie Holmes paper here. And then lots of crepe paper Maggie Holmes embellishments. Again, crepe, I don't know if this is crepe paper or Maggie Holmes, but it's one of the two. I just have that all in the same folder, and I discovered I need to buy more crepe paper Maggie Holmes papers because I don't have that many, and I'm having a hard time getting them to coordinate together. So, although I have put myself on a stash freeze again, just because I have more than enough papers and that kind of stuff. So collaging, I love to do this where I collage a lot of things together around the photo with crepe paper and Maggie Holmes. It just really lends itself to that style. So again, graduation day. And then here is a photo of my sister and me on my graduation day. And she was crying a lot harder than I was. So I hate all these photos because I have a really lovely little double chin. But hey, you know, those are moments and memories. So it was fun. I love these butterflies, and all of a sudden I like put one here and I'm like, oh, I'd love to see them fly, and I found 3 more and I'm like, oh, boom, easy. This was an easy page to do. So it looks like it was, because of the background of this, it looks like it was much harder to do when you look at it, though it's really simple. It's this, cut a banner, add some sort of a journaling card, pop on a couple of embellishments, butterflies there, a title, and a couple of word strips, and boom, I was done. So that's that. Okay. And then I found this picture of leaves. This is from a couple of weeks ago. And the first kind of sign of fall that I saw at my house. So I wanted to do this. And again, this is the new Echo Park, except for this piece of paper. This is the new Echo Park fall collection there, which I absolutely love. And look at me using the banners. This is the second one. Because you know what, guys, if you follow me, you know that I have a little banner issue. And this, oh, I actually realized I went to Pinterest twice. But I had it open, so I just went there. So this was a sketch that I pulled off of from Pinterest, or not a sketch, it was an actual layout, a picture of a layout that I lifted then from Pinterest. And then this is the same thing. I lifted another layout, and I can't tell you who it is because I didn't think about looking that up before I went on. But this was kind of a fun thing. Again, here I used that, you know, 1/3 of the page idea here, and then this time I kind of tucked things around each other, and I think I want to use that idea again. This was fun. And then I used a title with 4 fonts in it, which my buddy Rachel would probably be clapping for me if she knew that, because she's so good when we do Stash Bash. She's so good, or it just general, her videos. So it's Rachel Reynolds. If you don't follow her, make sure you do, because she's awesome. She's an awesome scrapbooker. But anyway, she always does a great job using multiple fonts. Now, I kind of cheated because it's all the same font, but it's different colors. So anyway, there's that. And by the way, guys, in case you realized and missed it, we did not do Stash Bash this month, and that's because Rachel's dealing with some personal stuff this month, and we needed to just take a break this month. I was going to tell you that, and I forgot to tell you that when I did my live a week ago on Friday. So we're anticipating being back for November, as long as everything is kind of settled down for Rachel. And if not, I'll let you know. All right. Then the next one is something I've been needing to do a lot lately. So this is a 2-page layout here, but I had so many photos that I ended up putting this, it's a, what do they call, I think they call this like a 3-up. It's a 4x6 photo sleeve. And I just put the photos in the middle of the actual 12x12 layout. This one I didn't put anything on the back. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll pop the journaling card here, but I usually try to put at least a little bit of something from the layout on there. So then there's the actual layout. This could stand alone most definitely by itself. I created it to do that actually. And here's what I was talking about, you know, here's a whole side of I think the last one you saw was vertical. Here's the horizontal photos. And then I had these other horizontal photos. And sometimes it's a little tricky to figure out what to put where. But Mama was with the kids here. So, and then these were kind of some lake photos. So they were up on a vacation in July, and this is pictures from that vacation. So there's another 12 by 12 on some craft cardstock. This is another 2-page layout from that trip, and what I've done here is I don't always, and actually frequently don't, when I do a 2-page layout, I frequently do not use the same background paper because a lot of times I don't have two of the same background paper. So what I do is I try to find commonalities. These are both from Simple Stories, so the yellow is the same yellow. And then what I did to kind of pull it together is I used the same red here. I couldn't just bring this across, and I didn't want to make it all red because I think I only have this one red dot paper and this particular red because it went so well, that what I did is I made sure that when they're in my binders, and I have binders so they won't sit exactly next to each other, but these two lines, like it's almost like this, I chopped off of this piece of paper and then did the border punch, which is actually what I did. But anyway, so that's what this is. And now you see the vertical photos here. This is from Grandpa's photo here, and for some reason they're really narrow. I'm not sure why that is, but anyway, but here we go again, just a little bit of something from this page over to this page, kind of an idea. And then another 2-page layout here, same concept as before. It's really a 2-page layout with an insert because I've got photos here. And here again, just a tiny little bit of something from the rest of the layout. So this is a train museum that they went to. And then there's the actual layout. Again, just kind of grouping those photos. When you do this too, you don't need a lot of embellishment on these 2-pagers that are like this because there's so much going on in the photo. I mean, this is a lot. I'm actually kind of glad that when it's in the album, they'll be sitting with a break because this is a lot to my eye. But I do like that that I have this striped paper here, and I'm trying to remember. Okay, I put them both on the red paper. I couldn't remember. So yes, I know that's a horrible waste of the red paper, but trust me, I have plenty of paper. And again, here's the things, the red background paper, and then this stripe brings the 2 pages together, even though I'm not mirroring them from side to side. Okay, so that's the train museum. Next is the train trip that they went on when they left the museum. To get that because it's sticking. I'm using some old Chamel paper. I think this is from her second collection actually, and some embellishments from Go Now Go. So what I did here now, with that last layout, I grabbed my Chamel product and I just kept that next to me. So now I'm batch scrapbooking Chamel product. So I just would pull the next batch of photos and just scrap with that Chamel products. Oh, this looks like this would be good for this collection, or that kind of a thing. And that's what I did here. This is probably a little bit more of a more traditional 2-page layout because I actually scrapbook both sides. 2 pieces of paper here, but they came across the page, and then I used the red to kind of unite it a little bit and give you a little bit of a border on both pages as well to kind of make this all together. And I was so excited I got to use some of these embellishments from Go Now Go. This is actually a bag tag, which I have had 2 of these since that collection came out and hadn't used them, and now one of them is used. Now I need to use the other one, right? Okay, then another 2-pager, and I'm obviously scrapbooking. This was a big trip for then, so I'm scrapbooking a lot of photos here from that. Okay, so here I actually used 2 full sheets of this paper, but on this side you don't see kind of this middle part. It's a little bit different, and I'm using the reds a little bit different. I'm using the aquas a little bit different, but and then there's stars. So you're seeing some of the same things, but they're not being used the same way in all of the on both of these sides of these paper. And eventually, if you guys are interested in 2-page layouts and that kind of stuff, eventually these will all go up on Flickr, where you can pop them. Although I have them organized, they're organized by how I would look for the layouts, which is by who's in them. But if you go through that, you would definitely find lots of 2-page layouts. So then from that same trip, this is really about this grandson versus the trip itself and how he's being a little bit daring. He be a little bit shy, so I thought it was cool to see him being brave and daring. And then this, I could eat him up in that picture. It's so darn cute. So, and again, more Chamel here. So batch scrapbooking. Thanks for that term, Carrie. That's awesome. Okay, then this is using a little bit more Pink Fresh here, and the reason I used that in here is I knew I had this little embellishment that said video chat with family, so I kind of just pulled some of those pieces in from that collection. I'm all done with the paper now. I finished the paper up. I do have some of the embellishments left from that, so I think I just need to put them into one of my boxes that I keep embellishments in, and be done with the collection, really, and then just start using them as embellishments. Now, the good news is there's still a lot of stuff I can use. So, and this is just a story about my oldest nephew and his wife. His wife is pregnant right now, so we did a family shower last weekend, actually, for them. So wanted to get that documented. And then more pictures of grandkids here. And this, I don't remember where that paper came out of now that I think about it. You know what? I think it's Amy Tangerine. Oh no, it's Chamel. It's from a Chamel paper pad, I think. Because I've got Chamel embellishments here. So oh, it's Little by Little. Now that I think about it, it's the Little by Little paper pad. I found that at Tuesday Morning not that long ago, and because all things Chamel, you know, I want that. This is Amy Tangerine though, that paper. So again, so now this is an easy one. Well, kind of easy. This threw me a little bit because I have all vertical photos except for this one horizontal one, and it didn't look right if I brought it up here because there was nothing to rest it on. It didn't look right if I brought it up here because it wasn't resting on it, so I had to kind of figure out what to do, and I'm like, oh, well, I could use a journaling spot there to fill that in, right? So anyway, so that's how I did that. And again, using a border to kind of unite the page and then to kind of bring it in a little bit, although that unexpectedly breaks out of it. I did think about using a paper around this to give it a mat, but decided not to because it's already kind of an attention getter, and it's more about the whole experience for the kids that I wanted them to remember and how much fun they had. And oh my gosh, they could have played this. Our library used to, they're not during COVID, but they used to do a Saturday morning thing for kids every once a month? Yeah, once or twice a month. And when my grandkids were here, I would take them to that. So then this is my very first layout with the Chamel's October Best of Both World kits. And I curated part of this. That's what this is. So this is the Heidi swap, and I'll show you the full paper because here's the next layout. It's from Old School. It's gorgeous. You can either make it look like sky or water. In this particular case, it's water. And again, in this case also, this is one of those photos again from that camera phone where the measurements are off for some reason. So I did choose to highlight this one and this one because Grandpa does this every year, and so this year they got to go with him. And then this was like their last full day, so that was a gorgeous sunset that they took photos of, and I thought that I would highlight that. So this is all from that kit, which is awesome, except the alphas. So then back again, here's the Old School paper, and because I was just playing with some, I couldn't find it, and this needed a shelf to sit on, and I couldn't find anything in my kit that I really loved with this photo. So I went back and I grabbed a scrap that happened to be sitting on my desk from Chamel here. So just, oh my gosh, I love this paper. If you can love papers. Of course we can. All right, and then here's a piece of paper from Little by Little that like confounded me about what the heck was I going to do with it. Just because, how do you put photos on that? Well, actually, my grandson, when he was here once and they were doing some art projects with me, wrote me a little note about loving me. So I'm going to save this. This one's going in my album because the note was to me. Sometimes I do it to them if he'll write me something, if it, I don't know if there's kind of a cool thing about that. But anyway, so to use a busy paper, right, that is crazy busy. I took a really bright piece of paper that was solid and put the emphasis on everything. I also think it helps that this isn't a photo, that it's a white piece of paper, so your eye goes right to that big white spot in the middle. That's, I think, why this works on this crazy busy paper. All right, so this is more Schmel. This is box of crayons, actually. I thought it was. And this one I left the border strip on and then just cut the top off here because I love this crayon because they're doing chalk art here. So, and I don't know that that was their best day ever, but hey, it worked with it worked with the theme of, or the colors here. And this, I cannot believe that this is my granddaughter. This is like a year ago, a little bit more than a year ago, and she's so tiny with that cute little baby belly. It's crazy as I was looking at these photos how little she was at that time. Here's another, oops, here's a single page. So this is just what they were doing at the library. Then after we did our little Play-Doh playtime, they have like a kids area, and we went up there. I thought we were gonna look at books, but we played with toys instead, which is fine. They had a good time and it kept them occupied. Here's another 2-page layout. So here we were coloring paper plate turkeys. So Grandma made some turkeys out of paper plates before they came, and then we colored them while I was getting dinner ready. And so they wouldn't mark up my wood floor, I threw down I always keep this plastic tablecloth around. For one thing, if they're eating on a table during if they would happen to be here for a holiday, that's when I would use that. But now a lot of times I use it more for them coloring on it instead. So this is a Doodlebug piece of paper there. So that's that, bright and fun. This is a Schmel Little by Little paper as well, too, from the paper pad. And I just liked this triangle pattern, reminded me of games for some reason, like, I don't know, backgammon or Chinese checkers, or I don't know, something made me think of games. So that's why I used that. And again, really busy paper, but I used a big block of tone on tone. And the same thing is true about that last layout I showed you. Let me grab it with that note. So that's a tone on tone pattern there. And so is this one. And I think that's part of why that works, to kind of, your eye has a place to rest with all that busy pattern and just focus right onto that. This is another Schmel paper that I was playing with here, and some embellishments as well. So these two, Thick as Thieves, and he's like walking and golden. I love this paper, so I'm so glad I got to use it. And then another 2-page layout here. This one's a pretty simple one because these photos are so busy. They were at a train fest that we have in our area that it probably is not going to be taking place this year, but they usually go every year because my daughter-in-law's dad loves steam trains. So they often go to that. And I just, again, the photos are so busy that the embellishment here is really simple. This is Echo Park's latest boy collection is what this is all from. All right, and then this is I did a lot of 2-page layouts this time. That's part of why I worked through so many photographs, because as you can see, there were a lot of photographs going on a page. So this is one of those where I didn't really use a collection. So this is Bella Boulevard, and this is Doodlebug. That's Amy Tangerine. I just loved the, you know, his shirt has that color in. There's the blue that I used here. And then I was trying to figure out, because I wanted a strip of this, and I kind of knew I wanted these two photos together with these kind of as a supporting side. And I realized he has gray in his shirt, so I went and found some gray paper, and boom. So that's one of those where I let the colors in the photograph really influence what I was scrapbooking with, the colors that I was scrapbooking with. And then this is another Schmel paper. This is my grandson reading here. And this is this Schmel paper I love because it does look like books. These books are actually from Shadney's Etsy spot. So it's let me get it out here. I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it properly. Yeah, Shadney. It's Shadnee. She has an Etsy shop and a YouTube channel as well. But she has lots of great back to school stuff there now. And I've talked about some of that. I will show you more in just a second. Oh, you guys, how many of you been scrapping long enough to remember Hambly transparencies? I think this might be my last one. And I brought my transparencies and I said that transparency is getting used this time because I've had it long enough. It needs to go on a layout. And I have these great pictures from my oldest grandson's. He had a lunch date with Mama. So she did that. So she got to spend individual time with the kids this summer. And so I just took some craft cardstock and laid that transparency over, and look at that beautiful nature background there and that darling smile on his face. So yay for the Hambly transparency going into a scrapbook and not sitting in my stash anymore. This is kind of a silly layout where I actually, instead of putting the photos together, I did this on one of the 2-pagers. I actually broke them apart with a strip of color in the middle there, and then a nice big journaling spot. And then because it was just a white journaling spot, I used a bit of washi tape to give it some color, and not a lot of embellishment. Really, basically, it's the washi tape, 2 wood flowers, and these 2 little spots in this word rad are from one of Chamel's word, like enamel word embellishment packs from American Crafts. So I love how that turned out. This is this is a very busy layout as well too, but because the photos are so dark brown, I really think it works because your eyes go right to the photos because it is so, everything is so dark brown. I collaged them a little bit because they weren't exactly even, but this is a cute older kitchen collection that's probably 4 or 5 years old now. So, and an old Amy Tangerine piece. I'm so glad I got it. So they're making rhubarb pie, which is, I don't know if that's everywhere across the country, but it's definitely something that we see a lot of during the summer here in my area. And I didn't like it when I was a kid, but as an adult, because it's sour as a kid, but I love it now as an adult. So now we're heading into back to school. So I grabbed my back to school folder, and there is the first layout. This wood veneer is all Shadney's wood veneer. Again, it's Shadne. Just want to, you know, she's an Etsy, you know, her own small business. So I want to make sure that if I'm using her product, I'm going to support it. This is an Echo Park School collection that's a couple years old, but I love that. So in her packs, she does have masks in some of them. And I think for this year, it's really important. My daughter-in-law did a great job of getting the pictures of the kids in their masks when they were going to school, because obviously that's a big story from this year, at least as far as we know it, that we've never seen before. And he's the only one that's gone to school, but you know, it's an important thing. And then I also love that you won't see it in all the back to school photos, but with each of the boys, at some point, their backpacks are documented, which I also think is cool, so they can see as they grow what they were into at that point. So he has a Minecraft backpack there, which I did not know he was wild about Minecraft, but apparently he is. So then this is my my second oldest grandson, so this is number 2, and there's more of that wood veneer and another mask, and then showing him. So this is his very first school experience. Oh, Carrie, I don't think I needed to know that, but of course I'm going to go look, even though I'm stash frozen. So Carrie just told me, in case you're watching this live, that Shadney has Fall and Halloween and Harry Potter out now. So, yeah. Anyway, so again, a little bit of a mask here so you can see that. I love this. They have a painted United States on their playground, which is so cute. So I love his little thumbs up because he was nervous. The kids, you know, here he is going to 4K, and normally you get to walk your kids into school, and he couldn't. Outside, he had to be turned over to an aide who walked into the classroom. They had gotten to go to the classroom, which actually you'll see that next, or not next. You may not see that. You know what? I already scrapbooked that, but there was a picture of him going to class to drop off his school supplies because he had been there before, but I can't even imagine going to school on my first day and Mama not being able to drop me off in my class. But he did great, and he really loves school, so that's cool. And then this is one of those photos, and I'm going to get this up close for you guys so you can see this. So this is on my little 4Kers second day of school. This is his second grade older brother, and he was really nervous, and they got to go at the same time this time. On his first day of school, he went a little bit later during the morning. Well, Big Brother knew he was nervous, so he took his hand and he walked him into school. And even now, you guys, I'm a little choked up about that, how kind he was and just how caring for his brother he was. Because honestly, like all brothers and sisters, these two can fight like crazy. But oh my gosh, this just has my heart. And I think especially because of what's going on in the world right now, especially our country, and how unkind people are to each other, that, you know, a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old are actually showing us how we should behave. Thanks, Carrie. I do love this too. This is one of those things that I wish I could keep those pictures. Of course I'm not going to. That's going to their album. But I do have these on my phone because that, obviously I'm very, very touched by that. All right. So then here are some pictures of, and then I'm dealing with a big photo block again. This is from like his first couple days of school where the teacher was sending pictures of kids home. So I'm looking, I guess it's a good thing they're all masked because I don't really exactly have permission to show all these other children, but him in the classroom, and some of those photos. So big collage block, again, busy background, you know the theme, tone on tone paper, to call your attention to the photos there. And then this is M number 2's end of his first day of school. And sorry, there's his name. And you've probably seen his name before, but anyway. So I found this donut paper. I knew I had donut paper, so I just went and grabbed that. And he got a end of school day treat of a donut. So I thought that was cute. And I love this. This is an old Amy Tangerine alphabet that's actually donuts, or looks like donuts, and some of them have bites out of them. This is like a food paper pad that I got at Joann's at one point. So bright and fun. And then my last two layouts from this morning. So there's one. Now I'm working with my Vicki Boutin folder because I realized I had not used any of her paper, and I brought it with me and decided I needed to get my act together and use some of it. So I pulled it out. Her dad posted this photo of her because he was strictly a stay-at-home dad, but now has finally gotten to go back to work. So he posted this, like, you know, some days being a parent is the same thing as being a janitor because... yeah, anyway, she's 2 and has this really nasty habit that when she's done eating, she just throws it on the floor. And they're having a really hard time breaking her of that habit. So, yeah, and her face is looking like, oh, wow, she just does it intentionally. She got grandma once with something small, but never since. So... ooh, she's a little stinker, but you would be too if you had 3 brothers, 2 of them older than you. And then again, this is another Vicki Boutin paper. I loved all the houses here, just because they're at home. They had a long day, and so like this is M number 2. He's comatose, and this is Big Brother with little brother, and just it was so cute. I just had to scrap it, and I love that, like the house paper neighborhood kind of feel for family. So that is the 68th page, you guys. I think I've kind of explained to you how I do things. I love, Carrie, again, that you told me about the batch scrapbooking, that to call it that, because that is exactly what I'm doing. I'm scrapbooking things in batches. So I do have one more scrapbook retreat coming up this year with the same group of girls we were supposed to go, or women. We were supposed to go in April, and it got canceled because obviously nobody was going out at that point. We actually had a stay-at-home order on when we were supposed to go. So we canceled it in March at some point, just because we didn't know. And at that point, I don't think we knew how to handle things, but, and I have been going to retreats with these women for, 8, 9 years now. I think 8 years, twice a year. So I know who they are and what they're doing and that kind of a thing. And I stayed away. I was unless it was passing each other, I was never closer than 6 feet to anybody. So, but so it's cool. The room is one big room. We still got to talk to each other because there were only 10 of us and we could hear all the conversations going on. And so that was really fun. So you guys, there's 68 layouts for you. Like I said, I have a playlist of other Scrapbook Retreat layouts if you want to see it, and that's in my Scrapbook album share playlist, where I do also share some albums as well. I'm just trying to think of big things coming up. I'm working really hard on getting Scrapbook process videos done for you guys because December Daily's coming up. I have less than 2 months to get that going. So I need, during December, I don't do a heck of a lot of other scrapbooking. Most of it's December Daily, but I do, I still have videos going for you because I'm working on them right now. So that's the best way to explain that. And I'm thinking DD this year will be a combination of live and recorded, edited videos too. And one of the reasons I really want to prepare stuff ahead is because if you don't do December Daily, December is kind of a bummer for watching videos because that's that's the content people are putting out there. And I think it's nice that I will stick. You're still going to see me on Tuesdays and Saturdays every week. And I can tell you that because I already have them uploaded into January now. I just finished that project. So that seems crazy, but, and I thought about it because I'm like, well, you're going to be seeing some summer layouts and some fall layouts in December and January, but really that's how we scrap, right? I don't scrapbook a heck of a lot of fall stuff in fall. I mean, I booked Halloween, but that was last year because I normally would have done that probably in March. So anyway, so there you guys, there's some ideas. Again, I do not pre-prep anything. I just take my supplies with me, basically like they are stored in when I'm in my scrap room, and I just go to town. So hope you guys are all well, and I will be back on Tuesday with another video. Take care, everybody. It was fun. Bye.